Hello, everybody. Welcome back to RoyalBluFX. This week, we're going to talk about the trades that we at RoyalBluFX took personally, and I'm going to break it down and show you why we took each specific trade. So without any further ado, let's get on with this. All right. So as we see here, we were looking at the UK 100 this week, and what we noticed was anytime when we start trading, all right, we need to always start on the higher time frame. And the 1 hour, we were looking at the 1 hour time frame as our higher time frame. And at this point, we were really just scalping. We were trying to, be in trades fast and then get out of the trades faster. Scalping is a fun way to make money fast if you know what you're doing. So this on UK 100, we were looking at the order flow of the market, and you can see clearly the order flow is pushing up, or the direction is going up as well. And there's beautiful order flow in this segment here. Anytime we see this order flow happening, we always, identify the order flow or the break of structure here with a CHOCH or a BOS. If you don't know what a CHOCH is, you can look at a video of one of the videos that we did a video on CHOCH specifically. But what it is it's essentially just a change of character. So we identify the break of structure of the CHOCH, right? And then we wait for a specific thing to happen in the market, whereas we're looking for the market to come back down to an order block, take price even higher. So in this case, we didn't see any of that happening here, right? Like we marked our order block on the 1 hour. We're waiting patiently for the market to come. There is still evidence that price is still looking to come down, to push down. We're seeing order flow, bearish order flow here. We see an area where the prices touched order block here. So prices could just push all the way down into the order block. And we're going to look for this area on the UK 100 as far as interest goes, to look for buys here and to take price up. So, but as we were waiting for price to get down this far, we wanted to sell. And what we're looking for is we treated our, once we looked at our 1 hour time frame, we went to the 5 minute to see the clear bearish order flow. Clearly, we can see a clear bearish order flow going down. We see multiple breaks of structures, and our point of view here was that we were looking for sells. So we're treating the 5 minute as our higher time frame right now, not our 1 hour. And we were treating the 5 minute as our higher time frame. So what we were looking for is seeing areas where price has been breaking constantly. You can see here there's an area of price breaking structure. Price pulled back and mitigated this area here, the supply zone, and then price went down. It never broke over here. So what we were looking for was we identify this as liquidity for the market to come and take out eventually. And then what we decided was we saw a clean break of structure here. You can see that there was a minor structure pushing up while substructure was pushing down, and we had a break of structure. This is what's considered a CHOCH right in this area here. When you see this low and this high, and then all of a sudden this low just takes out this low here, and prices never really touched their supply area to go down. So what happened was price just came and touched this area here, creating liquidity and taking prices back up to an order block that we were looking to sell off from. And surely enough, when we hit this area, the market hit this area, I was able to, we were able to identify what was happening there. So let's go on the 1 minute to show you guys what really happened. So then once the market hit our order block here, we were looking for, again, a CHOCH, a change of character. Here's our change of character. You can see here's our low, here's our high, and prices just came and took out that low. And then now there's an unmitigated area, an unmitigated order block at the supply area, supply zone. And then sure enough, once price got here, we just took that sell, and then we made sure we targeted this low based off of, because it was a safer area to target right here. If you were to try and target anything below, nothing's guaranteed, because we don't know if prices should ever continue lower based off of this low that was never broken. So we targeted just this low itself without the market ever, without targeting anything below. Another reason why we targeted this low is because there was liquidity here, and liquidity was, exposed. And you can clearly see here where the market just barely took out liquidity, right? This low and this low here. So this is why it made sense for us to sell this whole entire time and just to target this low. And that was it. Then thereafter, we were looking for a buy here to take prices from this order block. We had a chotch here. We're looking for buys here to target this high, to target this supply area, because we knew prices are still a sell-off. So this is a ever so risky trade here to take, but going against the trend is very hard. I don't recommend anyone really trading against a trend, but you can see here how this played out. We had a chotch. We bought here. We were targeting this high here for, I think, let me see, how much was I looking to buy this for? We were looking to target 10.3% on this trade. We made 7.8% on this trade. So we broke even out of this trade here. Understand that price is just not willing to go up higher. And any pullbacks are never guaranteed, by the way. So when price breaks structure, prices are never guaranteed to pull back to a supply, supply area or demand area, but a supply area in this case. So we should never try and trade against the trend. You should be trading with the trend. So this is the reason why we broke even here, and we didn't take anything else after that. Let me play this the market fast here so I can see what we did here and tell you guys what's happening. Okay, I believe we were on the 5-minute here. Knowing and understanding our order flow, what's happening here, we're looking for another sell. You can see this little red dot here represents our area of interest, an area where price was never mitigated, but now it just mitigated. And we're going to look for potential sells in this area here now to take the market all the way down to this low here. So obviously you guys can see the setup here that we've had. We're looking for a clear chotch to happen, and then we're looking for the price to come back into an order block here, and for us to look to sell it right down here to this low. So that's what we're looking for. So that's what it looks like on the UK 100. Next, we were trading the DAX 30, the Germany. This one was a fun trade as well. We were treating the 1 hour as our higher time frame right here. We can all see that prices are pushing higher and higher here. We had a break of structure here. We're definitely looking for prices to go up higher. Although in the midst of our trading that day, we were looking for sells, and I'll show you why. So even though we got hit here on the 1 hour, I don't know where we were at this time and why we didn't take this trade. But you can clearly see that the order block is right here. I don't know why that was adjusted there. That's our order block right there. Prices were touched on the order block, and we could have been easily ready on the 5-minute or the 1 minute to look for entries, but I don't know where I was at this time, so I wasn't able to buy. Obviously, here we have an unmitigated area where price is looking to come to this unmitigated area here for us to tap and then to touch it and to buy for higher prices here. But let's talk about the areas here that we took, the sells that we took here. Clearly, when we were selling this, when we came here to this market, we saw again order flow going bearish here. It was bearish order flow, clearly. So we treated the 5-minute, actually, we were on the 5-minute here. We were treating the 5-minute as a higher time frame. And once we saw order flow here, the price broke structure here, we're looking for selling off we're looking for sell positions from a supply area right in here. Okay, and then once prices tapped here, we weren't just selling right away quickly. What we waited for was another chotch right here. So prices touched all the way up here, and I waited for a clear chotch to happen, which happened right there. And then we waited for the markets to come back to an order block, which was here. and then we sniped right over here, looking to target this low only, not this low. We were still unsure if the markets were going to touch this demand and maybe potentially push high, breaking above these highs here. We didn't know, so we wanted to make sure we took a safer target here rather than here. Although when we sold, we could have taken partials here. Let's say we put in, $100 here, we can take out half of the money when the market touches our, first target, but then we can wait for maybe a potential second target here to be hit and let the rest run from this area. Let the rest run and see if we can target our second target. But we didn't do that. We took out all of our profits from this area, and it was all good. From this area, once price touched our order block after, once the price touched our entry order block here, we wanted to split our risk here, rather than actually utilizing this whole entire risk like this, or 1% risk. We wanted to cut our 1% to 50% like that. And the reason for that is so that, whenever you're trading against a trend, or you look like you're looking, it looks like you're looking like you're trading against a trend maybe, always taking caution whenever you're trading. We always want to minimize most of our risk, because whenever you're trading against the trend, the market will, obviously go against you, and it's so risky to, to use all this, risk here, rather than cutting your risk into half, 50%. So, if we had to lose this, then we only lost 0.5%, not the entire 1%. So that's why I was utilizing my risk management very carefully here, and sure enough, everything played out just fine. Once we understood that price was actually bearish here, continuing bearish, we were still looking to sell. We were being really patient, waiting for clear breaks of structures, as you see. Then we looked for unmitigated order blocks here and here, and waited for the market to patiently come up there. Once it touched one of the order blocks, we sniped and made sure we hit our take profit correctly. We saw that there's liquidity right here, so it made sense that markets were going to have to take out this liquidity and then reverse from once we touched this low here, this low right here. And look what it did. What's interesting is it touched that low and prices started to shoot back up for another sell. We weren't here at this time when the sell happened here, right here. So I don't, it would have played out really nicely, obviously, but yeah. And then once price got here, touched our major order block from this area here, major demand right there. We had a chotch here, and we were expecting for a buy, for the markets to come here for a buy to target this high here. Okay, and the reason why we're targeting this high is because this is the current high and this is the current low of the major swings. So it makes no sense to target anything above here or anything above here, because prices can start reversing once prices touch this current high here and start reversing all the way back down, which we're actually looking for, for the market to do. Because we at RoyalBluFX are looking to look for buys right here on this order block once price gets here. Right now, what price is doing is it's creating liquidity, and then price looks like it's about to drop from here. And actually, you can see a clear chotch. Price are going to come to an order block here, and there's going to be a sell-off. So we're going to be looking to pay attention to sell this when price gets there, when the market opens. So I'm going to mark this here as a chotch. And we're going to be looking to sell when prices get to this area right here, which they already have. So when the market's open, we're going to look to snipe essentially on this area here. Right there. So, and then we're going to be targeting the order block here at demand. This demand zone right there. This is where we're going to be targeting. That's where we want to finish. We can get about 5.6%, or if we want to cut it to 0.5%, 50%, we can look to target 11% instead. So maybe I can control my risk here a little bit from here to here. And there you go. It's about 50%. If it goes above my 50%, then I'm out of the trade and I get to risk only a little bit, not my whole 1%. So that's that for Germany 30 or the DAX 30. Next, we were also looking at the US 30, which is the Dow Jones Industrial Average Index. Again, as always, we always start in the 1 hour. We saw a clean break of structure. We understood that price has to come back down, or it should come back down to mitigate for this order block here for us to take a buy here. And as you see, we have a setup here ready to look for buys as soon as the market gets down to this area, at this demand area, and then take a buy, and then obviously target the next high there, because nothing is guaranteed above the current highs or the current lows. So when we marked our break of structure, we obviously went down in the 5 minutes, see what's happening. We identified, then now we took the 5 minute as our higher time frame and not the 1 hour, but knowing that the 1 hour is going to be pushing up. But we looked at the 5 minute as our higher time frame. We're treating the 5 minute as our higher time frame, and we're waiting for breaks of structure to happen. Now, two things. It was a bit difficult to see where our structure was here, other than maybe this low and this high, but we had no clue whether the markets were just going to tap here and then reverse from this area, or maybe even tap lower, then maybe continue up. We had no clue. We knew that this area was an interest, a point of interest. We also knew that this is an area point of interest for us. So we were looking for sell specifically. But let's go here and talk about how we took this trade and why we actually thought it would be a sell from this point specifically. So we were on the 5 minute, obviously. When I looked at the market, it was roughly, I think it was around this area. It was like this, touching it. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, cool. This is where our sell can potentially be. And I'll explain the reason as to why we targeted this low and nothing below this low. Why we were only looking to sell here and not here or here. So once we got to this position where the markets touched our order block, we went to the 1 minute immediately, and now we had to wait for a specific action to happen here. We realized that there was an area of structure that was broken here. This would be considered the chotch, and then we waited for price to come in, touch our order block here. Or I believe we went even lower. Here we go. We went even lower. Here's our order block right there, from this low to this high. And then we looked to strike, and then surely enough, price was going down our direction. You can clearly see here we were only targeting a 10.8%. So we were targeting this next low here because this is what was guaranteed. We didn't know whether price was just going to start consolidating like this, or being in a wedge like this. So because sometimes it happens, right? And then this would be a disaster to be in, obviously. So this is why we look to target just this low. So we obviously waited, patiently. You can't be too hasty to get out of the trade so fast. You just got to trust in your process, right, in the direction of the market. We knew that price had to sell off from here and then touch this low. So we were patient. I think we're looking for another trade here. Yeah, I marked this supply demand here. Sorry, this supply demand, this supply area here for a potential sell, but nothing happened. As you see, prices just came and touched our order block. Sorry, our destination here, our target, and then I didn't look for any other sells here anymore. So yeah, this was done. Then prices pushed down. Look what happened. It touched our order block on our 5 minute, I believe, right here, or maybe it was on our 1 minute. Let's see. Yeah, specifically on the 1 minute right here. It touched our order block right there. And then I don't know where I was at this time, but didn't look to buy. Obviously, I knew we were still in a sell. We were still in a seller's position here. And then we waited for price to actually break another structure. So it broke this demand zone here, and then we're looking for sells. And our sell, we had a area here where all the supply was pushing down, all the subs were breaking each other. Substructure was just breaking each other. So I looked at an area where the subs were breaking right here. Price broke clearly, right? Then I marked an area of unmitigated, in a mitigated area. And what do you know? As soon as we were here, I don't know where I was at this time again, but fortunately I was focusing on too many trades at this time, and I missed my entry here. So this right here, obviously, I missed my trade. So I'm definitely not taking credit for this trade at all. But you know, had I been here, everything would have played out right. And I don't know why. I don't know if we were targeting this low, but if we were targeting anything, it would have probably been this low here and finish there eventually. But yeah, you know, it's just really trusting in your process and knowing where the markets are going structurally speaking, you know, and understanding what the markets are doing. You know, if you're on the higher time frame like here, obviously you understand that prices have to go up from here because prices broke, the structure broke here. So it only makes sense for price to push up. But while prices we're looking for buys on the 1 hour, we can actually look for sells on the even on a lower time frame, because prices are already pushing down to mitigate our order block here. So these were some good trades that we made. We had one last one up here that we also did as well. Right here, we were looking for buys there, and let me see where else. I think it was just there. Yeah, it was here. Right there. We took buys here and here on Brent crude oil. So when prices got here, again, we were on the 1 hour. We saw that there was a clear break of structure here, and we waited patiently for the market to come back and touch our order block. Once prices got here, we made sure that we were only going to be buying, and we didn't go on the 5 minute to enter. You can see here I had this arrow ready to go for another buy since I bought off this area here. Now this was a very risky trade, I'll admit, because when prices touch an order block, say this big blue demand zone here, you can see how the market hasn't changed its bias. The bias is bearish this whole time, right? It's supply just pushing down. But I was looking to buy immediately for whatever reason, because it just made sense for price to go up after it touched our order block. But this is a very risky trade. The non-risky trade would have been just to wait for the market to break structure or break a change of character, wait for markets to come back to an order block here, and then look to strike to take prices up. But at this point, I took a buy for whatever reason, even though the markets were still bearish, which is very dangerous. You want your bias to change to bullish right here, wait for the market structure to break to look for buys, and that would have been a 10 times more safer trade. But we got a good trade out of this, and that was great. We were looking for buys here too. I think specifically on the lower time frame in a 1 minute. We saw that as a 5 minute higher time frame, and I don't know what made me want to buy this, but you know, we broke even on this trade. We were targeting this high for a safer target. We saw the chotch here. Unfortunately, if I was paying attention a bit better, I could see that there's a break of structure. There's a clean supply supply area here that obviously took price down, and I wouldn't have never taken this trade in the first place had I identified my supplies, because everything else here is telling us it's selling. We're selling, not buying. So never make that mistake. You know, for you guys, if you're a rational trader. Let's fast forward here because I didn't do anything here at this point. We made a few other trades here. Let's go right there. Let's go back to the 5 minute here. Okay, so we also took another trade here. We were on maybe the 30 minute here. Let me check. It was yeah, maybe it was the 30-minute or the 15-minute, but it was the 5-minute. Sorry, it was the 5-minute. It wasn't the, yeah, it was the 5-minute right here. So because this is the 5-minute POI. So I realized that price, the structure was breaking here. We had a clean charge here. Prices never came back down to an order block here or here. So when prices pushed even further from here, from this area on the 5-minute, I realized that this was our demand area and highlighted the high and the low of this. Didn't really highlight a specific order block as you see here, because sometimes the markets never come down to the order block and they just come and respect the supply, or sorry, the demand area when the prices break, and they respect the demand and then just take off. This can also be seen kind of weirdly as a break and retest, which I hate doing break and retests. I despise doing break and retests. Break and retests do work, you know, for those, but you know, in order to trade authentically or more realistically, you know, you got to understand why the markets don't move on break and retest, but they move on supply and demand areas. So I highlighted this whole supply and demand area, and then look for buys here. You can see I marked the 50% retracement here. Sorry, the 50% supply area here, and only wanted to risk 50% or 0.5%, not the entire 1% here. So we did pretty good on this trade, I must say. We made 6.9% on this, and we finished there. Same thing goes for this other trade here. We saw a beautiful order flow pushing up on the 5-minute. We use the 5-minute as our higher time frame, and we realized that there was a break of structure here. What am I doing? And then we saw this beautiful order flow here. We saw price continue breaking, and so we looked for entries here at this order block here. Although we marked our order block on the 1-minute because it looked more safer right here. So once we marked our low and our high here, we marked this demand area, and we waited for price to patiently come there, and we looked to strike here and target not this high, but this major supply area on the, maybe it's, I think it's on the 1 hour, maybe, or 30-minute supply, because we don't know if prices will continue to, you know, run inside this supply zone. So we usually look to target the outside areas of the supply or demand. So in this case, it's supply. So we're only looking to target the outer area, not the, you know, internal area in here. So the external part is what we're looking to target mostly. It's safer to do that. And as you can see here, we're targeting this high, and this was our first target, and we had a second target here, and then the second target was tapped, and we got out safely. And that's that's how you do this, I guess. This is what we were doing this week. If you guys have any questions about this, let me know what you think. You know, I'm definitely happy to answer anybody's questions. You know, and maybe answer your question how we do our setups and stuff like that. I'm more than happy to answer anybody's question on this. So without any further ado, I will close it from here, and have a great weekend, guys. Thank you.